What happens when we die? Is there an afterlife? Do we go to heaven? Or even worse, hell? Can we communicate with the dead? And if we can, should we? Let's find out.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 35 of Pedro Paranormal. I'm here as always with my co-host Carlos.
Hey everybody.
Who finally got out of the Matrix from last week.
Yeah.
But
I broke through the glass to get here.
he ended up taking the blue pill.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I like the steak.
Yeah. But and I'm your host
Call me
Tony.
Mr. Reagan.
Yeah. Today's episode we are going to be discussing, as the title says, Ghost in the Glass, right? Ghost in the Glass.
In the glass.
Yeah. And that's because, you know what, we're going to be talking about, either paranormal activity or even stories that, we found online about people that believe that spirits are somehow, able to communicate through either mirrors or glass or even beliefs that people have about, the spiritual world that has to do with glass and mirrors. So, anyways, before we start, how was your week, Carlos? How's everything? Are you back to work now?
Hey, Monday. I go back Monday. Hopefully for more than a month this time. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool, dude.
Money.
Money. As my daughter would do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I start Monday, so I'm excited about that. Also, I had a very good week. This week, one of my buddies from way back in the Barton Hill days.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember Ricardo?
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so he is cleaning up because he's going to do something in his apartment. I guess going to put something new in there, flooring or so. And he's like, I found these in my garage. I need to clean out. I don't want these things anymore. If you want to come over here and get them, because I know you're really into this stuff.
Yeah.
So I show up to his house, and he has a big tub there of vintage video game systems.
Oh,
and
nice.
Some games.
Nice.
And he has an old ColecoVision, and there's a fighting stick for the Wii, and then there also is a Panasonic 3DO. They're like, oh, this is so cool. Thanks, man. Thanks. Like, don't worry about it, man. I was like, how much are you? No, don't worry about it. He's like, you can take it. I know you're into this stuff. I know you're gonna put it into a good home. I was like, yes.
Yeah. So shout out to Ricardo.
Yeah, buddy. Since first, second grade or so. You remember him, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah,
I remember him from I think it was 5th grade, because I didn't go to Barton Hill till 5th grade. So, but I remember him. I remember he was a cool guy.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah, he's still a cool guy, man. Still a cool guy.
Yeah.
So now I have all this extra stuff that I have to dust off now and find a good place right here in this garage. I don't know where it's at.
Nice.
But,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
so
Carlos,
nice.
just make sure you clean all that broken glass, because.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good, dude. I'm glad. I'm glad everything's well. And I'm glad you're going back to work. That's a good thing.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's nice, especially before the holidays, which is really good.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the reasons I wanted to actually do this episode today on the whole glass and mirrors things was, I told Carlos about this. At the beginning of this week, I actually got to talk to a couple of people, because I'm always asking people everywhere I go. I just went to that bakery right up the street on Weymouth Corners. I forgot what it's called, but anyways, I went up there and I actually talked to the girl in the register and asked her if they had ever had any hauntings, because that bakery, I think it's been there for over 80 years now. So she's like, well, you know what? Stuff does happen. We have the radio turned on, which is one of the very common things in hauntings, where electronics turn on by themselves, either radios, TVs. I had a person once tell me about an entertainment center, with all the little, like the record player and all that stuff, that would turn on. So yeah, so she told me they have that happen.
Okay.
And she's like, you know what, if you really want to find out more stuff, talk to the bakers, because they're the ones that are here when it's still kind of dark, and they've had some stuff happen. So shout out to that girl. I didn't get her name, but anyways, I know she follows us now on YouTube.
Awesome. That's cool, man.
Yeah, but like I was saying before, one of the reasons I want to do this was because of that. Because I actually, spoke to a few people that told me stories that they've had, personal stories of seeing spirits in in windows and mirrors, of course. But one of them was actually right next to the YMCA, up on Bandini Street here in San Pedro. And this one was this guy, Gilbert. Shout out to Gilbert. He lived in this house when he was a young boy. He doesn't live in San Pedro anymore. He's in Wilmington now. But when he was a young boy, they lived in a house there, an old house that has like a big balcony. And what would happen is at night, this happened more than one time. He would wake up and he would see a man like in the sliding door to the balcony. And so he would like get up and sneak out and go to his parents' room and tell his dad, like, there's a man outside in the balcony. So the dad would come in running and go outside and there's nothing there. So then he would go back. And another time he did the same thing. Like, there's a man, I saw him. I see him clearly in the window, like just standing outside. So the dad, what he did on a different occasion, he ran outside to see if he could catch, just in case, like he saw him coming in, he would jump the balcony or something, I guess. So he went outside and went around to try to see if there was anybody either on the balcony or below, and they never saw anything. So so that was one of the stories I got. But then it just like it's weird how these episodes work with us, because all of a sudden, like, all this information just starts coming out, like that has to do with the episode of that week. So
right.
anyways, that was one of the things I that I was able to hear from one of the people. Did you talk to anybody, Carlos, that had a story, or you didn't get a chance to talk to anybody?
No chance this time around.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
But you found a lot of information.
I did find a lot of information, yes, on history, on mirrors, mostly mirrors. There's some information on glass, but it's mostly cultures and mirrors and the history of why they fascinate us so much.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just seeing spirits in glass, right? Because there's something where a lot of people use glass for like doing any kind, like a seance, or there's a person that I spoke to too, that she's from the Philippines, and this was yesterday. She's a caretaker of a person I know, and I asked her too, do you have any stories of back when when you were in the Philippines when you were a kid? And she's like, yeah, we actually used to play the Ouija board she used to play Ouija board with her parents. And again, it brings the whole glass thing up. What they used to do, they used to have I guess they would write like on a board. Instead of, I don't know if they sold Ouija boards back then in the Philippines, but they would make their own Ouija board, basically. They would get a board and write down, either the letters, yes, no. And what she mentioned was something that I didn't know people did. I mean, I know that people have used shot glasses to play with the Ouija board, where they put their hands on top of the glass and it'll move like the planchette.
That would be the planchette, yes.
That would be the planchette. But what she said was, I guess to be safe, the family would do, they would pray before they would start playing, and they would light a candle, and then this candle, when they blow it out, they have the glass ready and capture the smoke of the candle. Hey Carlos, where's your popcorn? It looks like you're watching a movie. But yeah,
good one.
So what happened was, they would pray right before. They would blow out the candle, they'd have the glass ready upside down and capture the smoke inside the glass, and then put the glass down on top of the Ouija board. And she said that, like, sometimes her and I believe her little brother, they would freak out because they would take turns playing, and the thing would move for everybody. So
wow.
Yeah.
Now would the smoke do something inside? Like, would it like twirl or move around?
Well, I think what happened was that since they did a prayer with the candle, it was almost to keep, I guess, evil spirits away. So they wouldn't be able to communicate with bad spirits, just the good spirits. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like blessing the planchette, but it's a glass.
Right.
Yeah. So I found that super interesting. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah, it's like when you have something like electronic, when you pray before something, you put it into a family mode, filtering out all the bad stuff.
It's almost like if we played the Ouija board now and we got the planchette and put some holy water on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another story that that it involved, and she told me that I guess that's why they would use the glass, because when they put the smoke in it, it was like a blessed piece of glass or something. And not only that, but the planchette also has that piece of usually it's plastic, but I know in the older models they would put a piece of glass in there. So
yes.
Yeah, the glass has something to do with almost like a communicating, using it like a communicating device for the other side. So
yeah, the word is to scry or scrying. That's what like the Wicked Witch of the West used, like a piece of glass to look at and predict or look into it as a portal, right? Like a communication device.
That's right.
So I believe the word is scrying, right?
That's right. I didn't even think about the crystal balls and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what did you find out, Carlos? What like real, like important information, not like my.
Well, yours is actually very important. Me is just for the history buff, so some other people might get bored, but but I have the history here of mirrors and why mirrors fascinate us. And mirrors have gone through so many different cultures and civilizations, and one would think that a mirror would be a portal. It would be something that will look into your soul, or it will be something that will tell the future. So and different civilizations would actually give you a different meaning. And also, I'm gonna read this list actually of these different civilizations. Mirrors were used by the ancient Egyptians as early as 2900 BC. They were made with polished copper, as it was associated with the goddess Hathor, who presides over beauty, cosmetics, love, sex, fertility, and magic. And we also have the Aztecs. Aztec mirrors were made from obsidian. Is that dark rock or mineral? And the Aztecs believed they were linked to, hopefully I'm not butchering this word, Tezcatlipoca, a deity whose name translates as smoking mirror. He was the lord of the night, and used mirrors to cross between the earthly realm and the underworld. So he's using it as a door, kind of like something to teleport or to open up into new areas to go around. In this case, it was between his world and Earth. The Romans also believed that mirrors or any reflective surface was a reflection of the human soul, and it was not being misused, or something terrible could happen and could be lost. If someone broke a mirror, one can remove the Roman 7 years bad luck curse by picking up all the pieces and placing them in paper or fabric, in a fabric bag. Throw it in a fast-flowing river, which will carry away the misfortune. Or they could bury it in soil too. Just don't look at the pieces while the pieces are laying there broken. You don't want to look at your reflection while there's shattered pieces, or that might mean more misfortune. Also, there's also the witches of Thalassy in the 3rd century who wrote their oracles on them in blood, and the Roman speculari who used them to view the past, the present, and the future.
So that's where that whole thing of the 7 years of bad luck came from?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember seeing that always in cartoons and all that stuff, where like, they were trying not to break the mirrors and stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But
a lot of superstitious cartoons like black cats and so forth.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy that mirrors or even glass, the whole thing of it being like a portal, which brings another like story that I heard from another person that I talked to this week, and she's actually a sensitive. She's able to feel energies, and also to kind of she said that she's had times when she's able to see the future a little bit. Where but the thing is, what she explained was that she wouldn't see it clearly. She would see like let's say a person covered in red, but she wouldn't know what it meant until it happened. Then she'd be like, okay, well that's what it was. But anyways, she this is another. This should be a Ouija board / mirror episode, because the thing is,
Yeah.
this was another Ouija board incident, and this happened back in the 70s, I believe, in Peru. And what happened was that, you know, her friends knew that she was a sensitive, because she would always, you know, she would kind of predict things, or say, oh no, this person, this something bad's gonna happen to this person, and so forth. But anyways, one day her two friends were playing the Ouija board. It was a male and a female, and they would always ask her, like, you know, like, is this spirit a good spirit, a bad spirit? You know, the one they were playing with. But one day, I guess her friend was playing, and she told her, you know what, you got to stop playing, because that spirit's no good. You know, that's a bad energy. So the girl decided, I guess she was gonna let her play. Like, you know, she asked the board. I don't know the rules, the exact rules with the Ouija board. I know we've done a Ouija board unboxing, but I never really got into playing it. But but what she says, I guess, when you're gonna like let go of the planchette, and you're still gonna be playing, you're supposed to like tell the board, like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna stop playing, and this person's gonna take my place. So that person did that. Like, she's like, okay, I'm gonna stop playing, my friend's gonna take over, and the board would start going crazy, and it would point to no. Like, the spirit didn't want to talk to the sensitive, the lady that's a sensitive. So, you know, I guess they continued to play, and the lady back then, when she was a young girl, she would leave the house and let them play. But she said on one occasion when she came back, and I think she said it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, the male, which was the boyfriend of the girl, was screaming. So she ran into the bedroom, and she's like, what's going on? And the guy was ripping up the board, right? And he was cussing at the spirit that they were playing with. And so she's like, what happened? I told you not to be playing, you know, with that spirit. And he's all like, which comes now to the point that has to do with mirrors, not the Ouija board. And what he said was that the spirit said that he really liked the girl because he would see her naked. And so the boyfriend, you know, he was playing with the girl, and the boyfriend asked, like, how do you see her, or how do you see us? And he's all like, and the spirit said, well, through the mirrors. And they had, like, you know, like a big mirror, and a big mirror on those, kind of like a dresser, and then a smaller mirror on the wall. So the spirit himself said that that's how he watched them, through the mirrors. So, you know, so
do you remember
do I remember
those two mirrors, or were they facing each other, the two mirrors?
I have no clue. I have no clue.
The reason why I bring it up is because when you have two mirrors in the house and the two mirrors are facing each other, that supposedly opens up a portal, and then spirits and demons can go in and out that way.
Oh, damn. So when I use a restroom and I open my, like, little medicine cabinets, I gotta be careful, dude.
Yeah, when your shirts and it.
Oh, man. Yeah, so anyways, getting back to the story, that's when I asked her, and I was like, that's crazy, because I'm gonna be doing an episode on mirrors. And she started kind of explaining to me that mirrors are like you said before, Carlos, like a portal to the other world, where not only can they come through the mirrors, but they could use it as just the same way we use a mirror to look at ourselves. They use the mirrors to look into our world. And
right.
She got really deep into explaining how you know, the way we could even transfer energy, like, you know, like when you get a mirror and you point at you know, let the sun reflect on the mirror, and then point the light at something else, and it makes that energy, the light, travel. Like you change the path of the light and the heat itself.
Exactly, so, like the Egyptians used to do it in the pyramids.
Yeah, like in the movie The Mummy. But yeah, so she explained something like that, like, you know, just the mirrors are something very powerful that's used for the paranormal because of that, because you're able to transfer energy through them. So the solar energy, the same thing with spirits energy, you know. So
right,
it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's going into my next topic, which is the Victorians. They used a heavy black cloth, and they used to put it over the mirrors when someone in the family would pass away. And the reason why they did this, just like you said, because of the energy. Well, our soul, our spirit is energy. And if someone passes away in the home, they covered the mirrors because your soul might come out instead of going into heaven or down below. It'll be stuck in the mirror with no place to go.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. I actually read something about that online. How I believe it was in I think Scotland or something, where when somebody would pass away, they would
Scotland's one of them.
they would put the mirrors face down. I didn't read about the
Yes.
covering, but I know they would like put them face down. So I guess the spirit that still in, because a lot of people believe the spirit stays in the body even after you die for like 48 hours or something like that. I forgot what it was. I might be wrong in that. But they believe that it stays there. That's why they would keep the bodies in the houses or something till the the spirit would go up to heaven or hell. But
Yes.
so
The same thing with Jewish families too. When somebody passes away, in the home they would do something called sit shiva or sitting shiva, and that's one of the things that's they have to cover the mirrors also, because what happens is the soul will be trapped also in that area. And let's see, and according to some Jewish myths, this is because demons visit homes where there has been tragedy or loss, and while they cannot be seen with the naked eye, one can see the reflection in the mirrors. So it's like the opposite of a vampire. You really can't see him next to you, but in the mirror you'll be able to find that demon.
oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what? Even as a child, I remember kind of being freaked out about mirrors. I don't know why. It's almost like in your nature to have that you kind of know there's something about the mirrors. Because I remember sometimes I'd be in the bathroom, like either brushing my teeth or combing my hair, and I would always be like kind of looking at like behind me, like in the movies, kind of like in the Conjuring, where they use the little mirror to see if they could see a spirit through it behind them. So, I mean, that must be a real practice, right? Because I've seen that in a few movies, in the Conjuring, and there was that in the other movie that you like, that trilogy or quadrilogy of what was that one called? Insidious, which is the same director from The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Great films.
Yes. Yeah,
Great
and
movies.
going back to being a child, Tony, when I was a child too, I used to hate going into the restroom in the old house, the little house, because it was old fashioned and we had a mirror in there too, and it was just, for me, it was just weird because I heard stories about the previous owner at that house that passed away in the restroom. I don't know how true that is, but as a child you make up these little stories in your head. So I would always go in there and brush my teeth as much as I can and try to avoid not to look at the mirror, but it was always there and whatever. But eventually this fear would lead to nightmares, or be going into the restroom and I would brush my teeth and I would just look at my reflection. But in your dreams you look at your reflection and it quite just doesn't look like you. And this thing started, I was looking at it and this thing just started looking back at me with like a sinister face, and it's just like started like this and then it started moving away and trying to like get closer or whatever it was, and I was just like, get me out of here. And of course in your nightmares you can't open the door and it's stuck, the thing won't let you until you finally pull away and you get out.
Hey, your braces didn't start attacking you like in Poltergeist, did they?
You can tell I never had braces, man.
And you know what? I've actually heard stories from actual people and also online, Carlos. I don't know if you found any of this, where people buy those old what do you call them? The dressers with the mirrors. What are they called? They have a name, where the girls do their makeup and their hair and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my mom actually purchased one, and this was from a thrift store here in San Pedro. And she actually had some, cause I think my mom's a sensitive. She just doesn't want to accept it because of religious beliefs. But she bought this one of those little things with the mirrors, a little old school one. It looked like from back in the, it must have been like the 50s.
Vanity.
Vanity.
The vanity, right?
Vanity. And they would start having these issues where they would hear like somebody running or somebody going up and down the stairs. And I you know what, Carlos, I don't know if I ever told you this, and I don't know if I don't think I've mentioned this on any of the episodes, but we're gonna do an episode on children that are spirit children, or children spirits, or whatever. Because we actually had a ghost, a kid ghost at my mom's house. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. Getting back to this vanity. I remember my mom told me, she's like, you know what, I've been hearing noises and and like laughing and stuff. And I go, so what have you bought anything? Because right away it's like, okay, you brought something. You must have brought something to the house. And yeah, of course, my mom likes to buy antique little old furniture from the thrift stores a lot, all the time. And she's like, I did buy this little vanity, real nice looking. You could tell it's really old. And I was like, well, that's most likely that's what it is. And she ended up getting rid of it, and everything stopped. But yeah, and I did find that online too. There's a lot of people that have had that kind of experience, not just with vanities, but any kind. They have these little small mirrors. Carlos, have you seen those? Where you put it on top of a table and it just kind of swivels back and forth. And there's some that are really old too, from back in the day. And there's stories about people having hauntings with those too. So who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, they say sometimes these mirrors, if you get them used, or even if you buy them brand new, it all depends on where they were on their trip to your house, that they can actually be used to store some sort of spirit, whether it's malevolence or not. That's what they say. Be careful when you go, even when you go to Walmart or Target, because people pass by that aisle all the time, and they might not be in the best state, or they might, do something that who knows what. So when you get that mirror, just be careful.
Yeah. Or I mean, it could be like these old vanities. It might have belonged to someone that was very like attached to that piece of furniture.
A longer history, yes.
It's almost like those haunted dolls, that are like supposedly possessed by like children's spirits and stuff. So
yeah, it'll be greater on something older than newer, that's for sure, because of the history.
Yeah, but
especially like in the Conjuring 2, the ghost with the house. It's my house.
Oh yeah, you actually watched The Conjuring 2 now?
Yes, I liked it.
It's good. It's good. It's good. The Enfield poltergeist.
Yeah. So what makes mirrors scary? Not just glass, but in this case, I want to talk about a little bit about mirrors.
Okay.
Mirrors were once made with silver. Silver is very it's a conductor of electricity. So a lot of people think that's one of the reasons why it attracts. Kind of like what you're saying, how the story about the bakery, how it would always turn on radios. The spirit would always turn radios on. So in this case, old mirrors were made with silver. They were made with the silver as a backing to them, which made them turn black over time as the silver oxidized. Due to this process, the mirrors took on an outwardly appearance, allowing the human eye to matrix shapes in the oxidation patterns that would form into the glass. Mirrors also fog and blotch as steam creates a layer of condensation on the surface, further propelling the myth of haunted worlds within the worlds. So what this means is that the silver in the back, it would change its forms through some time, and you'll start getting these little areas around, and as you would look at the mirror, your eye would start, how your brain works, it'll start making these patterns, and you start seeing things, and that's why this was a very popular way of seeing spirits or monsters.
Yeah. And you know what? I should have looked into. I know this is a dumb question, Carlos, but what is glass made out of? I didn't even. That's the first thing I should have researched.
Well, then the Egyptians or so use that to, or some other, I forget what civilization was it, but usually it's sand, right? Sand. And a few other things together, just treated with a lot of pressure, I believe.
So it's still made. So they're still made the same way.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so like
yeah, it's
sand.
one of those things that I should have looked up to. The hell's glass made?
Because you know what I was thinking, okay, it has to be made of some kind of some natural product. So I was thinking maybe that's where the even the haunting comes from, because they're getting a natural resource and making it into something else, and especially something like sand, Indy. Yeah, but you know what? There was another thing I wanted to talk about. Another reason I wanted to do this episode was, and I think this is the biggest reason, was I actually got to capture image of a spirit in a window, in a big, or those big sliding window door thingies at
nice.
My wife's aunt's house. And this was a while back before I got into the whole ghost hunts and all that. I did watch, of course, there was a show back then called, it wasn't Ghost Adventures. Well, I think I watched Ghost Adventures, but before that there was another one where there was plumbers. Remember that one? Plumbers that were ghost hunters.
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Plumbers
The
during the
first one,
day,
wasn't the
ghost
first
hunters by night.
Yeah.
But if I, I'll put an image right here. But yeah, so I used to see like things in these shows where they would get cameras and start taking pictures and capturing orbs and stuff. And that was proof of spirits, which now I know most of the time orbs are just dust particles. But
Right.
so I did the same thing. When on one of the occasions, I think it was New Year's or Christmas Eve or something, and we went to the that family member's house, and they were in the front house. I was in the back house where they had they already had a lot of activity there. So I started taking pictures, and the next day when I started reviewing my pictures, I started zooming in and just making sure. I was looking for orbs. I wasn't looking for a ghost. So I noticed an image in the sliding door, and there was nobody else there with me. I was by myself, and this was already like well, you know what it was? It wasn't that dark yet. It was the sun was barely going down and stuff. But I noticed in the sliding door there was like a silhouette of a looked like a woman. So I zoomed in, and it ended up being that there was two spirits, and they were both female. But you see the outline, and you could see they're kind of. It looks like they're wearing glasses. One of them is wearing glasses at least, and you see the little you could only see them from like the waist up, and you see they're wearing kind of like a old period time, those dresses that have like little trimming around the neck and stuff.
Right.
But it was funny because I forgot to mention that the reason I did that was because they used to have a lot of paranormal stuff happen there, where they would see a lady in the house more than once. I think this was like 2 or 3 times they saw a full-bodied apparition around the house, and they would also, of course, hear noises, people walking upstairs when there's nobody upstairs. So that's the reason I ended up taking those pictures, and I captured that picture. And if I could find the picture, I'll share it. You'll probably be looking at it right now as we're talking. But I showed you the picture, right, Carlos?
Yes, I remember this picture, and that's probably one of the best pictures that you ever have taken. And like you said, when I saw this picture, I did the same thing, looking for orbs, and you're like, "Tell me what you see, tell me what you see." And then I was like, "Oh my God, that's like an old lady there." And of course, like you explained, she was wearing that old time dress with the white ruffle, not ruffle, but what are that
trimming kind of around the neck.
The trimming. Mm-hmm. And was she wearing some sort of like jewelry or no? Or just
I can't really tell, because the thing is, it's like in the movies, the spirit is transparent. You can see through it, so it's not like a full color and everything. It's kind of like faded white, bluish, tone. There's something special about mirrors, and there always has been, I guess, from the beginning, from back in the day to now. Yeah. There must be some kind of like I said, what like that lady told me, the sensitive, the way you could transfer energy through anything that I guess anything that reflects. It could be anything that reflects. Yeah. But anyways,
and then, so you have The Conjuring. Then you have what are the movies that we have here? Oh, Bloody Mary. I mean, everyone knows about the story about Bloody Mary.
I thought you were gonna say Snow White.
No, but I'm gonna get to something near close to that. The Conjuring 2 even has a mirror too, where the nun comes out briefly in the beginning, and that's a larger mirror too.
That's right.
Let's see, Paranormal Activity 3, the Bloody Mary scene, where there's these 2 girls in a dark room, and they say the Bloody Mary 3 times, but the sister, the older one, scares the younger one. And the other one's like, stop it! And they, as they leave the room, the old sister goes, "I'm sorry," and the door closes, and you see a silhouette of Bloody Mary in the background.
Yeah,
but that was kind of neat.
You know what? And they've used the mirrors on everything. Now that I'm thinking about it, even in remember the Nightmare on Elm Street, where the girl falls through the mirror to go into the dream world to the other side. So
there you go, like a portal.
A portal, yeah.
What else do we have here? The Candyman. Remember the Candyman? He was also like a Bloody Mary ripoff, and he also you say his name 5 times, and he would come out of the medicine cabinet.
I do remember that. They're actually making a reboot of Candyman.
I thought, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully it's better than the first one because on the first one he doesn't come out until like 45 minutes
Yeah.
into the film.
And you know what?
when he
It's funny
dies,
because that movie, the original one, it has a big cult following. People actually like that movie. And when I saw it in theaters, when I saw it in theaters, I really didn't find it that scary.
yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so Paranormal Activity 3, Bloody Mary, The Conjuring, Candyman. This one that I did not see, but I heard it through another video podcast on YouTube called The Dwelling in 2015. Poor reviews though, 3 out of 10. But the description is: a young couple intentionally move into a haunted house to contact the other side. Their conduit, a black mirror, proves to contain a malevolent intelligence that becomes determined to destroy their family. So I looked at it, I was like, oh, I heard about it. I was like, okay, maybe that's a movie I should sit down and watch. And then I went on and I saw the rating for it. I was like, no, I got to do other things. I got to prepare notes and set up the computer for the whole show.
Yeah. And you know what's funny?
Up.
Another crazy thing too, Carlos, is that online I found some information about how, the spirits use the mirrors and, and glass to, to almost to see into our world. But if you really think about it, with the whole, when you capture, even when I did the pictures, when I captured that spirit in the sliding door, I used a camera that has a glass piece in the front. And a lot of times spirits are, when people take pictures, they're not able to see the spirits with their eyes, but the camera captures it, even when it's not on glass, but just anywhere. And you got to remember, the tool you're using also has a piece of glass there, so maybe they're also using that glass to come through.
Oh wow! Like a filter or some sort of switch, right?
Yeah.
In Russian folklore, mirrors are the invention of the devil. Let's see, having the power to draw souls out of bodies. That's pretty crazy. Oh, here's another one. Aztecs used mirror-like surfaces to keep witches away. A bowl of water with a knife in it was placed in the entrances of homes. A witch looking into it would see her soul pierced by the knife and flee. So that's kind of neat.
You know what's funny? I was just thinking right now, like, I remember going to, because you think and you'd be like, okay, how are spirits able to make these images into glass, right? Mirrors, glass, whatever. And I just thought about it, dude. Like, have you, I know the mall's closed right now, but right before they close, I don't know if you go to the mall very often, Carlos, but they have a jewelry store at the mall where they use this piece of glass, like cut out in the shape of a person, and there's a projector projecting a person into the glass, and it looks like the person's right there standing. So I'm like thinking, wait a second, we already do that. So, why wouldn't the spirits be able to do that? But anyway, that has nothing to do with it.
The spirits get confused because they can't figure out how to get rid of the 12 on their VCRs.
Oh man. Yeah. But you know what, Carlos? I think that's all the information I had. So I'll let you take over.
Yeah.
I'll let the technician take over.
The technician is done. The technician is done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're done for today's episode. But
there's a little moment of psychology, if I can read that out.
All right.
Maybe you can cut it later.
Go ahead. Edit it later.
In psychology, many psychologists say that the mirrors work on our psychological roots and disturb us because it is hard to see and interpret our own image, our sense of self. Matrixing, or identifying shapes that aren't there so the brain has some tangible form to view from nothingness. Shapes by candlelight or low light also cause the human eye to create forms of shapes that are not there. The product of brain desperate to make order out of chaos. And end on a high note, I guess. Unless you want to believe.
I know. I don't know. I mean, after I caught that picture, I actually think there's something about glass and mirrors. Not only that, Carlos, but remember we talked on the I think it was on the Matrix episode or the one before that about.
Yeah.
Remember that one house I went to too where the bottle exploded. And then not only that, but you watch a lot of these videos on YouTube where the spirits break glass and stuff. So maybe they do have some kind of ability or power over this material. But
maybe.
Was there any shout outs or plugs you want to do before we end episode 35, Carlos?
Just want to thank again Ricardo again for the wonderful toys that I just received, and again excited to go back to work on Monday, and yeah, so hopefully everything goes well.
You're gonna be like you were like the Joker when you saw those video games, huh? Where does he get all those wonderful toys?
Where does he get all those wonderful toys? Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, yeah. But anyways, guys, yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you have any of your own stories, any haunting stories or paranormal stuff that happened to you, with mirrors or seeing spirits in glass, go ahead and leave a comment, and we'll share it on a future episode. But yeah,
right, we have. Yeah, you can put on our email also. We can send it there or Facebook.
Yeah. And what? I also want to do a shout out to Anaya on YouTube. For winning a copy of the Haunted San Pedro book. That I personally delivered today. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much.